These are the celebrities who let their mean behavior cost them everything. Kanye West went from musical genius to walking drama faster than you can say, graduation. Kanye West, once had the world at his feet. He wasn't just a rapper. He was a cultural force, setting trends and redefining music. But somewhere along the way, his mic drops turned into PR disasters. Fans stuck by him through outbursts, wild interviews, and even that Taylor Swift moment. But his recent behavior? Yeah, even the most loyal fans started hitting the unfollow button. From debated political stances to jaw-dropping comments about history, Kanye seemed determined to push every boundary, just not in a good way. His anti-Semitic remarks, career-ending, Adidas, Balenciaga, and Gap all dropped him like a bad beat. Even fans who once defended his creative genius found themselves deleting playlists and selling merch. The man who once claimed to be a god in the music industry is now struggling to keep his empire from crumbling. At this rate, Kanye might be the only one left attending his next listening party. From America's sweetheart to Hollywood's coldest, Ellen's fall was anything but kind. For years, Ellen was daytime TV royalty, dancing her way into millions of hearts with feel-good moments and celebrity pranks. But behind the scenes, not so cheerful. In 2020, her empire took a nosedive when former staff members exposed the alleged toxic culture of the Ellen DeGeneres show. Claims of workplace bullying, intimidation, and a not-so-kind environment. Stories poured in about employees being not treated well, facing unfair consequences, and even being told not to make eye contact with her. Yikes. And when big names like Dakota Johnson subtly hinted at Ellen's less-than-sunny side, the internet had a field day. Despite a public apology and some serious damage control, the scandal stuck like gum on a shoe. Viewers tuned out, sponsors backed away, and her once beloved show wrapped up for good in 2022 after 19 seasons. Turns out, a smile and a dance can only cover so much. Lea went from Broadway darling to Hollywood's biggest diva, and not in a good way. Lea Michele became a household name playing Rachel Berry on Glee, a character who was talented, ambitious, and, well, a bit of a nightmare. Turns out, life imitated art. In 2020, Samantha Ware, a Glee co-star, called Lea out for making her time on set a living hell. And that was just the beginning. Other cast members backed up the claims, sharing stories of silent treatment, snide remarks, and downright mean girl behavior. Some even said Lea treated extras like they didn't exist, literally refusing to acknowledge them. Yikes. The backlash was swift. She lost brand deals, and the internet took turns roasting her. In true damage control mode, Lea issued an apology, saying she had grown and learned. But fans weren't buying it. Even her attempt at a comeback on Broadway's Funny Girl couldn't fully erase the reputation. James Corden played the lovable goof on TV, but off camera, not so charming. For years, James won over audiences with carpool karaoke and his cheeky British humor. But in 2022, his nice guy image crashed when restaurant owner Keith McNally publicly banned him from the famous NYC spot Balthazar, calling him a tiny cretin of a man. Ouch. The reason? James allegedly threw a fit over an omelet. Yes, an omelet, yelling at staff and making a scene over a minor mistake. And once that door opened, the floodgates burst. Former employees, servers, and even TV crew members came forward with their own stories of James being rude, dismissive, and just plain unpleasant. The contrast between his bubbly on-screen persona and his reported real-life behavior left fans feeling duped. James issued an apology after trying to deny it first. But the damage was done. His late-night show eventually wrapped, and his Hollywood reputation, not exactly in high demand. J.K. Rowling wrote about magic, but her squabbles, not so enchanting. For years, J.K. was the ultimate literary queen, creating a world that shaped childhoods and sparked a global fandom. But in 2019, the magic dimmed when her social media posts and essays on gender identity sparked outrage. What started as a few eyebrow-raising tweets quickly turned into a full-blown debate, with many accusing her of being dismissive of marginalized communities. The fallout? Massive. The actors who brought Harry Potter to life, Daniel, Emma, and Rupert, publicly distanced themselves. Fan pages dedicated to the wizarding world outright stated they no longer supported her views. Even bookstores that once proudly stocked Harry Potter began reconsidering their displays. Despite the backlash, J.K. doubled down, releasing lengthy essays defending her stance. The divide became so deep that even Hogwarts Legacy, a game based on her beloved books, launched with fans debating whether supporting the game meant supporting her. Some still adore her work, while others have permanently turned their backs. Amber Heard's biggest role, the most talked about courtroom drama in Hollywood history. For years, Amber was climbing the Hollywood ladder, starring in big-budget films like Aquaman. But in 2022, her career took a nosedive when her defamation trial with Johnny Depp became global entertainment. With cameras capturing every second, the courtroom turned into a reality show, and the internet became judge, jury, and meme factory. Testimony, recordings, and viral TikTok edits painted Amber as unreliable, and public opinion flipped faster than a Hollywood reboot. Memes flooded social media, the hashtag #Justice for Johnny Depp trended worldwide, and even makeup brands jumped in to fact-check her claims. The damage? Massive. A petition to remove her from Aquaman 2 racked up over 4 million signatures, and her screen time in the sequel reportedly got slashed to almost nothing. Even after the trial ended, her Hollywood future looked shakier than a low-budget sequel. While she's since moved to Spain and keeps a lower profile, the internet never forgets. Joe Rogan went from podcast king to internet punching bag, faster than you can say, "Pull that up, Jamie." Joe built a media empire with the Joe Rogan Experience, known for deep dive interviews and wild conversations. But as his audience grew, so did the criticism. Things got messy during the pandemic when he gave airtime to questionable medical takes that made scientists and health experts collectively facepalm. Suddenly, his podcast wasn't just casual chats, it was making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Then came the internet's favorite thing, old clips. A compilation surfaced showing Joe using identity-related slurs over the years, and the backlash hit like a freight train. Even celebs who once backed him, like Dwayne Johnson, quickly pulled a U-turn. Spotify, which had dropped a reported $100 million on him, had to clean up the mess, removing episodes and scrambling for damage control. Despite it all, Joe still has firm supporters, but his reputation, it took a serious dent. Turns out, when you have the biggest microphone in the world, people will listen, and not always in a good way. Some celebrities ruin their careers with scandals. Jenny did it with science denial. Jenny went from 90s it girl to daytime TV personality to, let's just say, a very questionable health expert. Once loved for her humor and charm, she took a sharp left turn when she became the loudest celebrity voice against vaccines. Her claims, based on personal belief rather than science, sent shockwaves through public health discussions. Despite mountains of research debunking the idea, Jenny doubled down, using talk shows, books, and interviews to spread her message. And it worked, for all the wrong reasons. Parents listened, vaccine hesitancy spiked, and doctors collectively facepalmed. Her influence was so strong that even years later, she's still cited as a key reason misinformation spread like wildfire. As the science world clapped back, Jenny's reputation took a nosedive. Instead of being remembered for her comedy or TV gigs, she became that celebrity people bring up when discussing why celebrities shouldn't give medical advice. The irony? If she had just stuck to making people laugh, her career might not have caught the wrong kind of fever. Chevy Chase was comedy royalty until his attitude made him the court jester of bad behavior. Chevy was once the golden boy of comedy, stealing scenes on Saturday Night Live and cracking up audiences in Caddyshack and National Lampoon's Vacation. But behind the laughs, not so funny. Turns out working with Chevy was about as enjoyable as stepping on a Lego barefoot. Stories of his on-set behavior stretch back decades. Fellow comedians called him unbearable. Community creator Dan Harmon openly despised him. And SNL castmates have described him as rude, dismissive, and just plain mean. Even legendary tough guy Bill Murray allegedly threw hands with him back in the day. Fans who grew up loving his slapstick charm started seeing the man behind the mask, and it wasn't pretty. With reports of him belittling co-stars and making questionable remarks, the once beloved funny man found himself on the wrong side of Hollywood. His legacy in comedy is still undeniable, but let's be real, Chevy's reputation aged like expired milk. And at this point, even his old characters might not want to be in the same room as him. Alec Baldwin's temper is so infamous that it deserves its own IMDb page. Alec has had an impressive career: 30 Rock, SNL, and a voice that could narrate a documentary on drying paint and still make it interesting. But when he's not acting, he's Well, not exactly winning nicest guy awards. For years, Alec's temper has been legendary. Paparazzi? He's shoved them. Airline attendants? He's gotten kicked off flights for refusing to stop playing Words with Friends. His voicemail to his own daughter? Yikes. And then came the Rust tragedy in 2021, a devastating accident that left many questioning his responsibility. Instead of handling it with quiet reflection, Alec did interviews, denied fault, and seemed more focused on clearing his name than anything else. Fans who once loved his charm started seeing a different side, a man who always seemed to be one argument away from a headline. Hollywood forgives a lot, but when your public persona starts looking more like an action movie villain than a beloved actor, that's a tough sell.